Welcome to the United Federation of Planets. Today, the chair recognizes the senator from the planet Vulcan. A tragedy has occurred on their peaceful planet. It has been destroyed just recently by an artificial black hole created by Romulus, killing most of their 6 billion inhabitants, leaving less than 10,000 Vulcans.
Supreme Chancellor, delegates of the Senate, we need to rebuild our race and our homes as soon as possible. However, as our planet is gone, we need an adaptable population as well to cope with the new environment. Also, as a basic need, we hope that our population will have strong immune systems in order to be able to fight against diseases for long-term survival. Also, in preparation for a disaster involving the Romulus more than a century later, we need to build a whole new generation with the best genes in hope that more people will survive in the coming genocide. I request help from the Supreme Council of the United Federation of Planets on the future direction of my people.
The chair opens the floor to give suggestions.
Your Honor Supreme Chancellor, distinguished delegates and senators spoke. I represent planet Pandora, proposing an elaborate strategy to encourage sexual reproduction to ensure the long-term survival of the Vulcan species. Vulcans have been a group of logical and peaceful population and observe the Pampa tradition, which is mating drive every 7 years. Sexual reproduction is an exchange of genetic material, which involves the paired union of special cells, which is gametes, from two individuals. A mode of reproduction involving the fusion of female gametes, ovum, and male gametes, sperm, forming a zygote that potentially develops into genetically distinct offspring. Meiosis is thus involved, and it is the process of cell division in sexually reproducing organisms that splits the chromosomes in reproductive cells from diploid with 46 chromosomes to two different haploids, having only 23 chromosomes, leading to the production of gametes in animals and spores in plants.
Your Honor and Senator Spock, I object to Senator Neytiri's proposal. We had a record of clone troopers of the Empire that fought the Star Wars not long ago, and it is extremely essential for you to prepare an army to meet Narada's forces a century later to ensure your survival. As such, I propose you to create a clone army capable of protecting the next generation from future attacks. Asexual reproduction has no reduction in chromosomal number. It is a form of reproduction that does not involve meiosis, ploidy reduction or fertilization, and the offspring is a clone of parent organism, results in low genetic variation in the species as a whole. Mitosis is the entire process of cell division, including the division of nucleus and the cytoplasm. A single cell divides, resulting in generally two identical cells, each containing the same number of chromosomes and genetic content as that of the original cell.
It's against our culture to be aggressive and promote war, though I understand the importance of rebuilding our population quickly.
But Your Honor,
No more, Senator Lamassu. I shall further discuss this matter with my council. Supreme Chancellor, delegates of the Senate, Senator Neytiri and Lamassu, we Vulcans thank you for your advices.
The Vulcans have requested a recess. Thank you all delegates of the Senate for coming for this emergency meeting.
Spock, considering what the Navis proposed, sexual reproduction creates genetic variation of offspring through recombination of genes during fertilization. It removes genes that are deleterious and bad by eliminating them in genetic variation, and promote genes with advantageous traits through genetic variation by keeping it, creating a fetal offspring who has beneficial genes to help him survive and cope in the environment better. For example, each parent would be resistant to a certain disease each, and thus during sexual reproduction, this gene can be passed down to the offspring so that it can be resistant to both diseases. Sexual reproduction repairs DNA during meiosis so that the offspring can be fitter than that of asexually reproduced offspring, as the parent's damaged DNA would be recovered in the offspring. The offspring would be more able to survive in the world as damaged DNA risks one's health greatly. There's a twofold cause of sex, where in sexual reproduction, two parents must mate with each other to produce one child, while in asexual reproduction, all of the organisms can produce daughters on its own self. Furthermore, for sexual reproduction, organisms have to take time to undergo sexual selection, where they must find a suitable mate they want to have sex with to produce an offspring. Sexual selection is the process of the mates choosing their partners through a list of competitors. Usually one will choose a mate with the best characteristics and strongest traits because they want the offspring to be fit and healthy with their parents' good genes. There are some organisms which, however, rely on both sexual and asexual reproductive means to produce offspring. It is found that during environmentally unstable conditions where the surroundings are uncertain to them, they reproduce sexually so that their offspring can be more resistant to unstable environment. They reproduce asexually when the environment conditions are favorable. The fact that the species chose to reproduce sexually when they do not have to, since it was more time and energy consuming, meant that there was a selective advantage to sexual reproduction means.
Whereas for what the Kaminoan proposed, a rapid population growth of estimated 100 million in 10 years is ideal to quickly repopulate our new planet. However, cloning comes with several risks. Firstly, when cloning is involved, genetic information is shared by two gametes, and the gametes are fertilized with no variation in daughter cells. This way, when the species are similar genetically, in the context of a change in the environment, they will have no survival advantages as compared to offsprings produced through sexual means. Transversely, when a parent has a genetic defect, all of its offspring will have the same defect as there is no evolution. With evolution, the defect may not be passed down to the offspring due to meiosis. This might then endanger your species, Vulcan, as many of the clones produced will have the same mutated cells. Rapid population build-up may seem like a benefit in the short term, but in the long run, your people will face the problem of overcrowding as offsprings are produced too rapidly. Also, at times, cloning is only possible in certain conditions. This can be extremely risky as once the environment is slightly altered, the Vulcans will not be able to reproduce and your people will once again face extinction. Furthermore, if you were to take the method of cloning, your population will be severely lacking in their social lives. Moreover, when people are cloned, everyone will look the same, behave the same way, and basically will have identical genes. This way, there will be no need for communication and interaction between people, no need for people to make friends as everyone is the same. Your population's lives will be boring and monotonous as everyone they meet is the same as themselves. Everyone will be totally equal and identical with the same strengths and weaknesses and with no means to break free from those weaknesses.
So, what is the conclusion when we weigh both their benefits and limitations?
Basically, this topic at hand is between quality and quantity. Both sexual and asexual have their benefits and limitations. For asexual reproduction, its main benefit is quantity. It helps us to repopulate quickly to ensure the survival of our species so that we can be ready for the attack by the Romulus a century later. Its limitation, however, is that it does not have genetic variation and has no ways of dealing with harmful mutations, since they cannot adapt to changes. For sexual reproduction, its main benefit is quality. It gives us genetic variation that allow us to survive harsh changes in environment, and it also allows us to have the probability of being smarter, wittier, and stronger. Although the limitation is that the population of us will be relatively small, it will not cause overcrowding. Also, if the Romulus manage to wipe 6 billion of us so easily, what we need is not quantity but quality. We need the quality to outsmart them to ensure our survival. Although asexual reproduction is a fast-paced process that takes less time to produce many identical offspring, while sexual reproduction is a time-consuming process and takes a prolonged period of time for a couple to produce an offspring, with their mating cycle occurring only once every 7 years. But no worries, we propose that the Vulcans can take an anti-estrogen drug that is found on planet Earth, also known as colimfin. This drug can be taken in pill form and it stimulates your hypothalamus in the brain to release the luteinizing hormone to tell the ovaries to release an egg so that the species can mate and make more offspring outside the mating cycle period, increasing rate of sexual reproduction in the Vulcans and perhaps lighten the weakness of sexual reproduction faced by Vulcans so that the reproduction in Vulcans can be more productive. As such, I believe that sexual reproduction is the strategy that we should adopt.